This is Wild About Liberty, where the community joins together. Now here's your host, Terry Wild.
Thank you for tuning into our program today. We're going to be talking to some people at an event called The Great Reawakening. That's taking place in Tulare, California. And we have our guest today is Yvette Cochran. And Yvette, you're running for the California Senate District 11, and you're at that event. Tell us about who you are and your candidacy, and what kind of event is that in Tulare that's taking place?
So this is the Clay Clark Reawaken event, where medical freedom, good patriots are here gathering and educating. Sorry, I'm just moving.
Well, there's no shortage of headliner guests, is there?
That is correct. So it's amazing who's here. General Flynn is here, Lee Dundas, Judy Mikovits, so many pastors, many incredible freedom fighters who are here.
Well, tell us, why are you running for Senate? That's a big task. That's a huge undertaking. Why are you doing it?
It is a huge undertaking. So I am in San Francisco. I am against the incumbent Scott Wiener, who has authored many harmful bills that harm our children, our families, women, our communities in terms of safety. I'm a mother of two teenagers and a registered nurse. I served my community as a nurse for 25 years, and I have just watched the deterioration of San Francisco and the Bay Area for far too long. They're stripping away our freedoms from us, taking away our jobs. You were almost unable to provide for our families because of some of this. And our criminals, the thieves, have more rights than law-abiding residents. They're decriminalizing many things, legalizing theft, legalizing drugs. Scott Wiener wants to legalize more drugs. San Francisco is already an open-air drug market. We can't walk, nobody is safe walking in any neighborhood in the city. Yet you want to continue to just minimize public safety. It's not working on increasing public safety at all. So what I would like to do is support our law enforcement wholeheartedly, reverse parts of Prop 47, which makes stealing illegal again. And we can't legalize all of these drugs, because all that's going to happen is the drug addicts are going to continue to steal to then pay their dealers for their drugs. But the third reason why I'm running is the assault on our children and our parental rights. So our children, due to lockdown, due to the shutdowns, or maybe even before then, are not reading and writing and doing arithmetic to the grade level. They're behind. Yet our government is spending millions and billions of dollars in teaching our children to hate this country, hate one another, and to confuse them. They should not be teaching our children about sex. If you want to teach them about their reproductive system, well, leave it that. But you don't teach them about their sex, confuse them, teach them how to have sex, what to have sex with. They're normalizing pedophilia. Specifically, Scott Wiener's bill, SB 145, decriminalizes pedophilia, which permits pedophiles from avoiding the sex registration list so long as their victim is within 10 years. So a 24-year-old can play with a 14-year-old? No, I'm sorry, that's not okay. The 14-year-old shouldn't even be consenting to sex with the 24-year-old. It's all wrong. So normalizing, decriminalizing pedophilia, over-sexualizing our children, confusing them, and then allowing them to mutilate their bodies when they can't even drive or get a tattoo, vote in our elections, or fight in our armed services. This is all absolutely insane. If A child with bulimia or anorexia walks into the doctor's office. Well, their parent brings them into the doctor's office because they're afraid they're going to die because they're 80 pounds. When that child goes in, the therapist or physician does not affirm that this child is obese and give them diet pills and sign them up for gastric bypass to affirm their dysphoria. No, they treat their dysphoria. Yet when it comes to gender confusion, they're affirming it and mutilating their bodies. What you want to do when you're an adult, knock yourself out, but leave our children alone.
Well, those are all solid viewpoints and positions if you're conservative, but you're certainly not in a conservative area. I moved to San Francisco when I was 12 years old in 1957, and it was a totally different place. And it was almost like Camelot in a way. It had a mystique about it, and it was very formal, and you would go down on Market Street to Sears and City of Paris and Macy's, and the women would dress up, and that was a long time ago. But it's really a poster city now for everything that's bad.
It really is. What I can say is I've been advocating for about 3 years now. I've been out in the community working with various groups. And I will tell you that I've never met more Democrats and liberals who say they don't recognize their party anymore, that they're fed up and that it's gone too far and they can't vote that way anymore. So what I'm hoping is the sensible Democrats, the sensible liberals, and the sensible Republicans are going to come together on common sense measures and start working together, voting together. We need to stop voting down party line because they are doing a phenomenal job at dividing us and making us hate one another when there's no reason to. The majority of us agree on most issues, but we don't know how to stop voting party line. Look at the ballot measure. Read the issue, read the fine point, because how they get through a lot of these bills is they hide other parts of policies into it. A few of the other legislation that Mr. Weiner has authored or co-authored, for instance, legalizing loitering. So SB 357, and that, there are people who say a woman should be able, or a man should be able to provide for themselves and they can sell their body for sex. But what most people don't know what that bill did is it handcuffed our law enforcement so they can't go in and rescue the women and children or men who are being trafficked. We know that human trafficking is the second leading moneymaker in the world. And now we've just legalize it and handcuff law enforcement from rescuing people who are being trafficked.
Well, tell us, give us the name of your website and how to reach your campaign.
Yes. So my website is Yvette, which is YVETTE for the word FOR Senate. So YvetteForSenate.org. Again, I'm District 11 in San Francisco, and I'm meeting more and more people who are fed up. They will vote conservative because I think if we don't stop this, we're not going to recognize our country. We're not even going to be able to have our children anymore. They're gonna hijack them from us once they come out.
Well, look what happened to the school district in San Francisco. They flipped that, right?
Right. So I was part, I helped volunteer for the recall of Tressa Bowden and the school board.
Nice.
So while the Republican Party may be the minority in the city, there's a great number of independents, NPPs, non-party preference, and we know that they're unhappy Democrats. So we did not unseat Tressa Bowden and the school board without the help or without sensible Democrats and independents.
Well, describe for us and for our listeners how the state Senate voting system works and your constituency. Give us a little overview of that.
Well, I mean, in San Francisco specifically, we have about 33,000 Republicans, 134,000 NPPs, and about 300-something thousand Democrats. My territory covers all of San Francisco and a small portion of San Mateo, which includes Colma, Daly City, Broadmoor, and Upper South San Francisco. Those are the counties that can vote for me, or the cities that can vote for me. But what I need every Californian to remember is the legislation that comes out of this seat affects our entire state.
Very good point.
And not only does it affect the entire state, where goes California, goes our nation. So it's coming to a city and state near you. We need to stop this now. Parents and sensible people need to stop being afraid. Stop going along to get along. Stop being afraid of offending somebody. My goodness, I just hate that word these days now, this phrase, offending. Be brave. Stand up. Fight for your rights, your freedoms, and protect your children. For goodness sakes, if we cannot protect our children, they don't have a future.
Well, there's a whole issue is, have people had enough yet? How much more are they willing to take? And what is it going to take to get the voters out for you, for example, in order to win? So how do you see so far with your campaign, where are you looking for votes at, and how much support are you getting?
I think I would always love to receive more support and financially with donations, because we know that Mr. Wiener is heavily funded. There are 4 of us in this race. I need to make top 2 March 3rd. The primaries, we don't have as large, like just in general, it's a smaller turnout than the general election. But I think people are pretty fed right now.
Excuse me.
And I have to get out and educate my constituents. I also need to listen to what their concerns are and needs. I know what the concerns are in some areas, but not others. So it's me hearing the voices of my constituents as well. But standing up for our children, protecting our freedoms, our First Amendments, our Second Amendment, and our Constitution is crucial.
Well, we really need people to step up in your district, but you don't have to be in your district to send a check. And
that's correct.
And like you said, the decisions that come out of the Senate affect everyone in California. And so we really, as a call to action, if you're listening today, we're not just local with KXCX radio station in Fresno County. We go out to the whole state and the whole country via YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, all of the different platforms. And so we really need people to step up, and not tomorrow, not next week. They need to step up now. And if they're content, then fine, don't do anything. But if you see the trouble and you see the problems and it affects your life, it affects your children, then now's the time to do something. And give us the website one more time, Yvette.
It's YvetteForSenate.org. And you are absolutely right. Now is the time. If there's any other time, it's now. Because if we do not start making positive changes, I fear for what's coming next. I fear for our children. I fear for our future generations.
Well, I know we have a following in San Francisco in the Bay Area. We have more of a stronger following in Santa Clara County with Wild About Liberty. And so I'm just asking, I'm making an appeal that if you really value the Christian Judeo values that we stand for, then you need to do something. Help out Yvette in her campaign. Write her a check. If you know people in her district, contact them, email them in any way possible, and tell them to get out and vote. March is a critical thing.
March.
And so with the way it's going now, what's your opposition doing? How are they treating you?
I don't think he is even paying attention or cares who's running against him right now. There are 4 of us in the race. A gentleman who's running as a non-party preference, who's Chinese, who got his citizenship 1 year ago. A lovely woman who is running as a Democrat. I think she said she's liberal, but very lovely lady. We agree on where the stand against transgenders, but not sure where we agree on everything else. And there's me. I think I'm the only parent of all of those who are running. I've been somebody who's a caretaker for most of my life. I take care of. I save lives.
Well,
I want to our lives in a different way. And the other thing is, when you were talking about the donations, they can also make a donation on my website, which is also fairly simple. The donations button right there on the website.
Well, that's what we encourage people to do. You know, the event that you're at now has some rather significant and influential people. Are you getting any support there? Are you able to attract their attention at that event?
This is actually the 3rd event that I've attended, just because I'm such a medical freedom person. You do what you want with your body. You shouldn't be forced to take experimental injections. Our government has overstepped in many ways, and smaller government, we need to support. They cannot be, we're going to have to be lining up to comply with many different things in order to buy our groceries before long if we do not step up now.
It really does filter down, doesn't it? You know, they started it with the shutdown and used that as a pretext for government to step in and tell you whether you could go out or not, whether you could eat in a restaurant, go to church. They even said, well, go to church, just don't sing. I mean, it's pretty, idiotic. But
actually,
go ahead.
They couldn't even go to church, but they kept the liquor stores and cannabis dispensaries open, but we couldn't go to church.
Yeah, the essential designated industries. But again, the thing that I think has been effectively distorted by the left is the fact that this is just a plain and simple situation. Do you have freedom or do you not? Are we going to keep our freedom or are we going to lose it? Those freedoms are bound up in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and it's our Constitution that has to stay intact. And I think that's what you're saying about why you're running. We've got to keep that Constitution intact or just say, forget about it. And then who runs the thing? Who runs Sacramento right now? A supermajority of select people who are going to tell you what's best for you. And that's why we need you in Sacramento to change that.
Yes, we do. We need to bring common sense measures back. We need to swing this pendulum that's gone so far left, somewhere back to the middle. With any hope, we have more and more good, common sense, grassroots individuals who are stepping up, but we need more. So we need everybody to get involved at your local level wherever you can. Do what you can, whether it's from home or out volunteering or running, anything. But please just don't stay home and be quiet. It's going to kill us.
Well, tell us what you think about the medical freedom, the direction that the World Health Organization is changing a lot of things up. Fauci is coming out now disclaiming a bunch of stuff. Well, what direction do you think they're going to be taking us in as far as the issue of health and regulation?
I fear anything that's coming from them. What transpired during this, some people call it a pandemic, some people call it a plandemic. What transpired was absolutely ridiculous. They lied to us. They deceived us. They covered things up. They made money off of us.
Huge.
They made deaths. They killed people purposefully. What's coming next? I can't even guess, but I know it can't be good. So I hope and pray that everybody has learned their lesson and they do their own research. They maybe shut off their TV, the mainstream media, because they're lying to us.
Right.
Their own research. I don't know what's coming, but we can't go through this again.
Well, they call Fresno County the Bible Belt of the state. And it used to be Orange County. It used to be San Diego, for example. And so we're having our struggles here. But I can't even imagine, for example, the school situation and the parental rights has been stripped away in such a level. And San Francisco has to be just about ground zero for the worst place in the country. How bad do you see it? How bad is it there?
I don't know if any one city is affected more than the other. Some schools push it more than others. Fortunately, I have my children in parochial school, so they're not as affected. But even though I have my children in parochial school, I sure did spend most weekends gathering signatures to recall the school board. They just wrote a bill. I forgot the number of it, but basically it was going to, if parents went into school board meetings or spoke up about whatever issues and made teachers uncomfortable, they were going to basically criminalize us. You could be jailed for up to 1 year or fined $500 to $1,000. Fortunately, that didn't pass, or Gavin vetoed it. I can't recall which one, but they're harming our children, and they're trying to take away the parents' ability to speak up about the children. They don't want the parents to know what's being taught in the classrooms. The parental rights is just we have to protect our children, and parents need to do their jobs. I will tell you that I'm working with my friend Erin Friday, who is part of protectkidsca.com, and she wrote 3 ballot initiatives that right now we're collecting signatures for. We need to get 500,000 signatures very quickly. So I encourage everybody to go to protectkidsca.org, .com, and print out the petition. It's 3 ballot measures at once. It's no boys and men competing in girls and women's sports, no secrets kept from parents in the schools, so they can't be indoctrinating and transitioning these kids behind the parents' backs at the school, which they are doing. And then the third one is no hormones and surgeries on minors.
And give us that website one more time.
It is, excuse me, It is protectkidsca.com.
Right.
We know what I'm going to give a couple of statistics real quick.
Yeah, please do.
These children who are being confused, and they are being confused in the schools because they're forcing this education on them, this ideology. They're being confused. They're identifying as a different sex than what they are. And the studies show that these children, if left untouched, meaning not socially transitioned or chemically or physically transitioned, 88% of these children will become comfortable in their natural body when they come to age. And then of that 88%, about a little over 60% of those who are confused end up figuring out that they're either gay or lesbian. So this is also an assault on the gay, lesbian, and bi community, because it's saying that, okay, you can no longer be gay, lesbian, or bi. Now you need to mutilate your body.
Right.
Leave these children alone. Let them figure out who they are on their own. This is a new indoctrination over the last on children over like the last 4 to 5 years, maybe. It's had, or maybe longer than that, but it's had a 5,000% uptake.
Wow.
And now that they're forcing this in the schools, it's going to increase exponentially. I was just speaking to somebody earlier today because now there's a law that says that we have to have gender neutral toys for these children, and that large department stores have to have gender neutral areas. Otherwise, I can't believe if they'll be fined or something. This has gotten out of control.
Well, it is out of control. You know, in the Senate in California, we don't have a chance right now. If we don't get that change, if we don't get people like you elected, it's going to continue and even get worse. Give us some description of the Senate, the way you see it now. How is it operating? And it's really just a supermajority, right?
It is exactly a supermajority. So we need to get common sense politicians in there. Even more moderates are better than the far left, but we need more Republicans. And so, for instance, if this ballot measure that I spoke about, if we don't get those signatures and it on the ballot, then we can be certain that this one party system is going to push their agenda forward. But the polls show that more than 70% of California, they don't agree with boys competing in girls' sports, medicalizing or surgically, transitioning children, or that we keep secrets from parents. 70+% don't support, that. So if we can get these signatures, we bring it to the people, and we will be able to protect our children.
Give us the website one more time.
protectkidsca.com.
People really need to take that seriously, and I'm encouraging our listeners to go online and get that form and get your signature on it, and let's do something about it. People want change, but it's going to take an effort. They have to stand up. They have to go out and vote. They have to get those signatures turned in, or we just live with the way things are. And if you've been to San Francisco lately, oh my God, it looks like a war zone. It's horrible. It's terrible. And I can't even stand to look at it, because my memories, like I said, it was like Camelot. It was a beautiful place to go, and had just a beautiful mystique about it. And now look what we have because of the policies of the left. So 70% are against this issue, and we can't get this thing changed around. That boggles my mind. I don't see how, that tells us they really know what they're doing. They've got the money. They have the organization. They seem to be outmaneuvering us at every level. We better wake up.
They're just forcing legislation. They're just pushing it through, and we, the people, have no voice.
Yeah, but you know why they're able to do that? Because no one's stopping them. 70% could stop them, but we just need to decide, am I going to make a difference? Have I had enough or not? So I really appreciate the fact that you're making this effort. I mean, I think most people understand that trying to win a seat like this in San Francisco is a very difficult thing. You're out financed. You've got so much to work with, but your hope is that you think you can actually pull this off. Do you think you can win it?
Well, I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to die trying, because if I don't, my children and our future generations don't have a chance.
Well, look at what happened with Trump. He was an underdog. He was written off. It was a big joke that he was even running for president. And yet enough people came out of the woodwork and decided, you know what, I've had enough. And they made that decision, and we got a president that at least represented our values to a large degree. And so it's possible. And if people will actually support you and help you financially, because that's really essential. If you don't have the money, you're just dead in the water. You have to have the resources. You have to get the name out there. You need to get people aware and vote. March is just around the corner. Yes. So again, if you're listening and you want to help change things, then help Yvette with the campaign. Write her a check. Again, contact people in the San Francisco district and let them know they need to vote and contact other people. Let's network together. Let's join together with Yvette and try and make this election a landmark. Let's try and do the Hail Mary and pull something off that nobody was really expecting. Because I know he isn't. He just thinks he's off to the races, and I'd love to see him come down. I'd love to take him down. So we have to do something, and we're gonna. I want to do a write-in, not a write-in campaign, but I want to do a campaign to write into people and do social media from our headquarters to the people that we know in San Francisco, and try and get support as much as we can, Yvette, and try and get you some money if we can. So we encourage you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. So we have a few minutes left. What else would you like people to know about what you're doing?
Well, I mean, it's reaching across party lines. It's speaking with everybody. You can't write legislation that helps a small minority, 7 to 10%, while it hurts the majority. There's a way for us to help everybody, and I would like to be that person who can do that. I will be working to win this seat. We'll be working to gut and amend, change some of the horrible legislation that Mr. Wiener has authored and gotten passed. So again, my website is YvetteForSenate.org. You can pop on there, donate button is right at the top. And if people want to volunteer, I would love to have you. Scott Wiener is probably the lead of the harmful 11 or 12 legislators that are pushing this agenda. So if we can stop him, we can slow this down. And then we'll need other brave individuals to take on the other politicians.
Well, thank you again. We appreciate you coming on the program. I know you're going to enjoy the rest of the day at that event in Tulare, the Great Reawakening. And
Like Clark.
Yeah, and so I was scheduled to be there and I couldn't make it, so I'm a little disappointed, but I know you're enjoying it. Thanks for coming on the program, Yvette.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Well, it's really a hard hill to climb running as a Republican in San Francisco. And my heart goes out to Yvette because, you get tired, you get discouraged, you get weary. When the other side has so much money and they're able to do the things that you normally would expect to do with getting printing and sending out material and literature and all the things that need to be done to win an election like she's waging, as a state senate, that's a monumental job to try and win. So she needs help. And again, we want to do something for her. We want to take this guy Wiener and get him out of office and get that guy out of our lives and out of our schools and his policies. They're evil. They're wicked. They're wrong. And our position about Wild About Liberty, we're a faith-based operation. Our faith and our trust and our hope is in Jesus Christ. And his values are the values that we want to represent. And so if you know anyone in the San Francisco, Daly City, all the way out to South City and part of San Mateo, if you know people that live there, please contact them and let them know about Yvette's campaign and ask them to help her and to make their own contacts and to get the word out. Maybe, send in a donation, but do something. You don't have to live there to help her. You can be in the Fresno County. You can be anywhere in the state. I know people listen to this program and watch us on YouTube and Rumble and Twitter. And so here's an opportunity. Wouldn't it be great if we could pull off an upset like this in the California legislature? If we could make this happen, it would be a huge thing. So let's give it a try. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to make some calls. If you make some calls, send out any kind of emails or messages to people that you know, and let's see if we can't get this lady elected to the California State Senate. Well, we're awfully grateful here at Wild About Liberty to Sierra Glass. They're our sponsor, and they have done a lot of great work for us here in our studio. We're surrounded with glass. You probably can't see it all from this vantage point, but it's a beautiful job. They're located at 1527 Railroad Avenue in Clovis, California, 93612. They do commercial work. They do residential work. Any kind of glass work that you may need, give them a call. Sierra Glass. Their phone number is 559-304-9839. Again, that number is 559-304-9839. Sierra Glass. Please give them a call if you need any work done. Well, we are looking at the whole area of politics, Christianity, how we work within both of those areas, and I think people are starting to take notice in Fresno County. People are waking up, and as Richard Bailey has said so many times, have you had enough? Well, let's see if we can't make a difference here in our county with school choice and with parental rights and educating our kids and all these areas of the economy. And we want to elect people to office that represent Christian Judeo values. So I'm asking you to look into your own situation in your own district. Who's running? What do they represent? Do they represent your values? I know Michael Marr, he's running against Jim Costa. That's a big uphill race. Jim Costa has secured that seat for so many years. And now we could make a change there if we helped out Michael and gave him our support and encouraged other people to do the same thing. Because we're here to make a difference. That's why Wild About Liberty is here. We want to make a difference. We believe in the opportunity that America has given to people. We love this country. We're fully aware of many of its faults, its shortcomings throughout the history. There's always been problems. We started out as having inalienable rights and equal rights, but black people didn't have those rights at the beginning, and they were mistreated, and things had to be changed. Things had to be corrected in America, and they did get corrected to a large extent. And it wasn't achievable at one point because we're dealing with evil. We're dealing with evil people. And I don't care if you have the name American or any other nationality. We come from an evil background, and we have this threat of evil throughout our lives, throughout every area of our life. And so we have to stand up against it. And when people call us racist and some kind of a phobe, that's our opportunity to say, no, we're not. We believe in America. We believe in what it stands for. We believe in the opportunities. We believe in equal rights for everyone. And so it's a platform that we can turn it around instead of being intimidated and instead of being categorized in a way that's not true. We can use it as a platform to tell them what is true. And that's why Wild About Liberty is even on the air. That's why we're taking the time to prepare for these programs, to invite guests on that we think have something important to say. And we thank you for listening to our program and supporting it, both on air and in all of the different podcast platforms that we're on. If you like what you're hearing, then please hit the right buttons, subscribe, like, do all those things that will help us out. We appreciate it. And we want your comments. So you could go to our website, www.wildaboutliberty.com, and leave your thoughts and comments. We'd love to hear from you. So the rest of the month leading up to Christmas, we're going to have some exciting shows for you. We've got some great people that I just love interviewing and talking to and hearing what they have to say. So keep tuning in Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. on KXEX Radio 1550. We want to give our thanks to the Marino family, to Lisa, and to Guillermo. and wish them happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Thank you again for tuning in. Wild About Liberty. God bless you.
Thank you for listening to Wild About Liberty with Terry Wild, only on KXEX 1550.